let me hear Veto's argument.
Yeah, I'm gonna answer your
about
question.
Foden because, and then I'm gonna go to Mike to end this segment before we go on because
I'll answer your question with regards to Foden. All right, the reason why it's very different, and George was partially right, but him talking about splashing cash to make everything work, I disagree. But in terms of recognizing that there's a consistency with Manchester City's planning, board, owners, vision, we can see that there's a difference between City and FSG and Liverpool. So if one player is going to be like, do I leave after Pep because I think things are going to crumble? Do I leave after Klopp because I think things are going to crumble? It's more sided that things are going to go bad Liverpool side than Manchester City side. Now, another reason why I think Foden remains at City is because he's a midfielder. The impact that he would have in the game and the team is very different than is he a right back, Mike? Is he a potential midfielder? I don't know what Trent is these days. But Foden is going 2 years from now, he's going to be the face of City. He's going to be that midfielder. So if it continues with him, Holland, he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere.
Can I say one thing about, because you asked what Trent is.
I don't know what Trent is. I keep being told he's a right back.
Nobody knows. Okay, nobody knows. But Trent is the player who you adjust your system to accommodate him because he's a game winner.
At Liverpool, not at Real Madrid.
Foden. You're talking about Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
Your argument was Foden at City is a midfielder. He's gonna be this and that. Trent Alexander-Arnold, and if you disagree, you can tell me, is someone who you adjust your system to accommodate him. You play a midfielder to cover him.
Of course.
Does that make sense?
We've seen it for years.
So your argument is invalid.
No.
Trent is a superstar. He's an X factor.
No. He's not an X factor. He's a hybrid. We don't know what he is.
What?
We don't know what he is.
Here you go.
Here
you go. So I'm bringing the answer out. You don't think that Trent is at the level of Phil Foden? You don't. In terms of X factor.
Right now.
2 years from now, I want to ask you a question. Do you think Phil Foden and Trent Alexander-Arnold at the same level in terms of the effect they have on the game?
Yes.
Okay, so why are you saying that Foden is an X factor and Trent isn't?
Trent can be an X factor. He's a hybrid, but I don't know what he is. I can't say he's a right back. I can't say that he's an inverted midfielder. I don't know what to call him. But is he an X factor? Yes. And when you were talking about the coverage or you adjust teams for him, we've been seeing it for years. We can all, Mike, you can hold your hand up. Trent isn't the best defender. That's why he's had coverage from Jordan Henderson in past years. That's why when you guys talk about your starting 11, you think of who can cover Trent when he starts going inverted where he bombs up the field. We know his deficiencies, but I'm talking about player for player at each individual club. I can see Trent saying, you know what, my future at Liverpool or my future at Real Madrid, I'm probably better off going to Real Madrid. The different question between Foden and Real Madrid, again, there's going to be a lot that's going to be decided in this leg in the Champions League. I think it looks like, you know what, I can remain at City because for the past few years, City keep being the favorites for everything that they play in.
Mike?
Okay. First and foremost, it's not that Trent is a poor defender. It's that the system does not properly accommodate for a traditional right back. So the man is inverted. He's out of position, and he's also not a natural right back either. His worst aspect of defending is just simply positioning. When he's in midfield and it's transitional defense, he actually has very solid numbers when it comes to one-on-one duels and when it comes to tackles. But when he's playing right back and he's out of position and another midfielder is forced to cover for him, that's where you have problems. But anyone would have a problem there. Anyone in the world. And you see it in Liverpool because we've had the same problems without Trent there. So it's not a Trent problem. It's a system problem. Okay. But I will say his positional awareness sometimes is poor when he's playing right back. Okay, which is why I never said that he's a right back. He's a midfielder.
I'm cool with that.
I've said this since the Champions League final versus Real Madrid. He should be in the midfield. There is no excuse about it. And if you're a new manager coming in and you see what Trent has, that's what you have to be thinking. It's not, oh my God, Connor Bradley's here. I don't need a right back anymore. It's, oh my God, Connor Bradley's here. I can put Trent in midfield. I can save £100 million by not buying 2 other players because I have a player already who can occupy that position. It would be a stupid financial decision to get rid of a player with that much potential when I don't have to go into the market and replace him. I simply put him in midfield, and if it doesn't work, whatever, sign him to a 3-year deal. If it doesn't work, you really think that Real Madrid is just going to not knock because he's 26 and not 25? Absolutely not. If they're this interested in him now, you bring in another manager, you put him in midfield. If he fails and falls on his face, you give him to Real Madrid and you say, you know what? It's not my problem anymore. Maybe I lost 20 million out of that, but it's 20 million. Who cares? I'll sell you him for 100 million. There you go. But it would be such a stupid decision for an incoming manager to get rid of a star player like that. Michael Edwards would not do that. He would not take the star boy of Liverpool, the actual scouser in the team, and simply sell him because 120 million was brought. That doesn't make any intuitive or logical sense when it comes to a sporting director like Michael Edwards. And I think that there's a lot of assumptions here. People are like, oh, Liverpool are going to drop off. We're not going to be successful. There's no guarantee of that. Yes, maybe when it comes to a historical, man. Hold on, allow me to finish. When it comes to some historical aspect, you can say, well, managers typically need a season or 2 to adjust. Sure, typically, but that doesn't mean I'm just going to rule out the possibility that a manager could come in and keep things seamlessly moving forward, because it happened before. I'm not just going to assume the worst. I'm not just going to say that, oh, we're going to be shit because Klopp's leaving. Like that's a loser mentality.
That you're going to be crap, but there's going to be a drop off.
You guys are saying that.
No. I'm saying that that's not a guarantee. Like, you guys are all sitting here acting like that's guaranteed.
As a Liverpool fan, let's not act like before Klopp, you didn't come from trash. You guys were battling for Europa Leagues with.
That was in the hold on.
So you've gone through even with Rafa Benitez, you guys wasn't good for a long time. Like you guys have gone through a long.
That's the past.
Has Klopp been doing magic all the time?
One at a time, because
this is today. Like, you guys are talking about the past. Okay, this is before we won everything. This is before we had the talent that we have today. I refuse to compare a club today to a club 8 years ago. That doesn't make any sense. That would be like comparing like an iPhone to the first rotary telephone. It makes absolutely no sense in my mind. It's not logical. I see the team that we have. I see the potential that we have. If you bring in a good enough manager, there doesn't have to be that big of a transition period. Things can seamlessly move forward, especially with the proper sporting director and the proper person running the club, Mike, and the proper manager. The talent is there. I'm not going to just assume.
Like, how much credit does Klopp get for your winning ways?
The manager always deserves the majority of the credit, considering the fact that he is the person who's putting the players out there and creating the tactics 100%. But the players,
my point is,
the players are also the players.
I hear you. My point is, look at Klopp 100%. All right. Look at what he's been able to do, his effectiveness, and what he means. He's 100%. I don't care whatever manager you go out and get. I don't care. And maybe you don't rate Klopp at this level, but if Klopp at 100%, and how great he's been, the next manager you come in my humble opinion, I think they're 80-75% of what Klopp is. Them as managers are 80-75-70%. So there's a drop off in terms of quality of manager into the system that you're talking about. Unless you don't credit Klopp that much, unless you can just take out any manager and get the success. But I think Klopp is at levels. So when Klopp is now out of here, I think Liverpool drops.
Listen, that's based off the assumption that we would play the Jurgen Klopp way. You technically, on a historical basis, you are correct. Whoever comes in would be 70-80% of what Klopp is. But that's not to say that that's a guaranteed fact. That's all I'm trying to say. That's not that is not guaranteed.
Guarantees. So let's all get hung up on the
Xabi Alonso could come in, implement a system quickly, make a few changes to what Jurgen Klopp does. The players know the system because it's very familiar to it, and all of a sudden it works, and you start to get results, and then you build up momentum. That's why the first quarter of the season for a new manager is so important. I'm not expecting to win every single game, but I'm expecting to be up there within 5-6 points of first place, and then all of a sudden players are in a flow. We can get into a groove. boom, move forward. 6
All right.
points is really not that much. 2 games back, like that's not very unrealistic to say that this Liverpool
That's
team
what I'm
next
saying.
season.
That's really close. You're 6 points off of whoever's going to be top of the league next year with an incoming manager. That's an amazing debut season for any manager at Liverpool.
100%.
I don't envision
100%.
that, not even remotely. Not even remotely.
I can see that happening based on the players that we have and who we could potentially get and how we could potentially move forward. Because to be honest, if you give the same exact roster to a manager like Xabi Alonso, maybe you add a couple pieces.
Well, if
Who
Trent
knows?
thinks like you, he's not going anywhere. But if Trent sees differently, I think he would be weighing his options. And again, we all need to be honest. If Real Madrid come knocking, and if you rate Trent to be this worldly player, then he's going to be considering going to Real Madrid.
Can I interject here? And I want to ask a question here, simple question before I do the super chats. For everybody sending super chats, we'll do that, all of them. I want to start with Dawood. If you have one spot left in a team, no context, nothing, who are you choosing, Foden or Trent Alexander-Arnold?
For me, a player
not because of your team. Don't tell me because I have Ben White. I'm telling you, who are you choosing to affect the team?
One of these players has had a massive impact in their team winning multiple trophies. One of these players has come in and has turned up in some of the biggest games of their team's careers, and that is Trent Alexander-Arnold. I'm sorry, but Phil Foden is 23 years of age, and this season is the first season that is actually turned up for Man City. This season, no, I'm being serious. This
you know why I'm laughing?
I don't know. Well, let him finish.
Wait, let me. He can finish. Go on, Dad. Sorry, finish.
Yeah, but yeah, this season is the first time this season everyone's recognizing Phil Foden. The disrespect Trent Alexander-Arnold gets is unreal. This guy has been turning up for Liverpool since 2018, probably even earlier. I'm not even sure. And he is one of the key factors of why they've won every single trophy that's available to them. And if they win the Europa League this year, there's not a trophy that they haven't won. So, like, if we're looking at impact players, if we're looking at, players that have actually had an impact on their team, it has to be Trent Alexander-Arnold ahead of Phil Foden. Phil Foden has had the luxury of playing with some of the world-class players of all time. He's had the luxury of playing with Bernardo Silva, David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Erling Haaland, Sergio Aguero, Raheem Sterling. Like, the luxury of players that he's played alongside and that he's learned from has been night and day compared to Trent Alexander-Arnold. So, like, come on, man. Let's have some respect on Trent. And let's say that this guy has had a massive impact on Liverpool winning major trophies. And we can't say the same thing. The first 3 league titles that Man City won with Pep Guardiola, can you really say Phil Foden had a massive impact? And if he was out of the team, Man City were not going to win the league. No, we can't say that. So, let's have some respect.
The question wasn't about over time. The question, no.
I would have Trent.
No, wait. Let me go. Because I actually want. Because the thing is, I know what Dawood's doing here, man. He thinks he's smart, and this is when people think they're playing 3D chess. Because I know he's got a Phil Foden agenda in his back pocket, waiting. Because when Bukayo Saka gets brought up, he needs to make sure that he hasn't bigged up Foden too much. He needs to make sure the praise is not too high because he needs to make sure the Saka praise is even better. So I know what Arsenal fans are thinking of this, but Phil Foden, to say that he hasn't had the impact into all of these league titles and all, you say compared, Trent has only won 1 Champions League, 1 Premier League, 1 FA Cup, 1 League Cup. Am I correct? 1 of each.
I think he's won 6 more trophies than any Spurs player has.
Okay, but I'm not speaking from a Spurs point of view. I'm speaking
one of everything. One of everything.
Foden's got about 5 trophies in just League Cups. Yeah,
you're right.
So when you talk
Foden
about
also has 115 charges.
So when you talk about contributing to just trophies, okay, Trent's contributed to 5 trophies. Foden's contributed to about 10 or 12, and then when you just 5 League Cups, he would have played a big role in Champions League, scoring goals, playing in big games. Kevin De Bruyne he's missed quite a lot of big games through injury throughout the last couple of years because he's just been injured. His body's been breaking down. I mean, but the question is, Foden's been scoring the key goals. You can't tell me that Foden's not
would Man City have won less trophies?
No, that was not the question. The question Mo asked was, which player would you have join your team? And you went on this whole going back 2, 3, 4, 5 years. We're talking about which player would you take into your team now?
I'm going to nip this in the butt, Bader. I would rather have Foden. I'm just going to go out there and just nip it. Like Like, if you're going to look at this from a top-down perspective, Phil Foden is a player who offensively changes the game more than Trent Alexander-Arnold does because of the system. If Trent were a midfielder, the way that I wanted him to be, if Trent were the player that I envisioned him to be, and after the Champions League final, he was moved into midfield and he's one of the best midfielders in the world because that's how I could see him, I think that this would be a different debate. But Phil Foden can play at right wing, he can play at the 10, he can play in the midfield, he can play on the left, he can play in the 9. Phil Foden can get you the goal when you need it. Phil Foden can create the opportunity when you need it. And also, he's 2 years younger. Like, that's the big thing here. Phil Foden has a longer expectancy than Trent because Phil Foden is 23 years old and he's already done everything. Now, you can say that he's had the best players in the world around him. You can say he's had Haaland. You can say he's had De Bruyne. I don't care. Phil Foden has created magic out of absolutely nothing. The guy is a world-class player. There is no debate about this. He's 100% a world-class player. I don't even think that this is a debate. He is without a doubt one of the highest potential forwards in the world. And what I've seen so far this year would 100% put him in world
Can you
class.
put him in the same scale as Vinicius Jr.?
Yeah.
Same
I mean, he's
bracket.
also 100%. Why the hell not? Who else in the world
He's
can
jealous.
I compare
Look, because Saka,
on the
promise
wings?
you, it's because Saka can't have the conversation. He's jealous.
No.
Yeah,
Promise
you're
you,
still mad
he's-
about what Rio said about Saka and Foden. That's why.
But hold on.
No,
I
didn't
also
say
don't
Saka's
even
world
think
class.
we
I didn't
haven't
say
even
Saka's world
seen the
class.
best of Foden. We haven't like here's the thing. We still haven't even seen the best of Foden because there's times where Pep puts him and he's essentially taking him out of the game in order to accommodate other players, which doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand why you're trying to accommodate Julian Alvarez when you have Phil Foden. I don't understand why you're trying to play this 4D chess and make sure that everyone's playing when you already have your boy in there and he can get the job done, right? So I don't think that this is a comparable situation because Trent is being played out of position to where he naturally should be, and Phil Foden is right where he should be, and Phil Foden adds more right now this season.
That 1 second.
I actually have hold on. I'm sorry, took longer than expected. This Trent thing. I'm gonna say something to everybody, to respond to what George said because it's a lot of waffle. He said about the number of trophies and shit, and I'll tell you why it's shit. Because if you ask 100 people in the world, who would you take, Nathan Ake or Virgil van Dijk as your left-sided center back? 100 people will tell you, I'll take Virgil van Dijk, even though Nathan Ake won way multiple trophies and contributed. By the way, Nathan Ake is not only that he's just part of the squad. Nathan Ake at some point was City's best defender at City. So I'm not just giving you. I am not giving you a shit. Wait, because you lost the argument when I said that. I didn't give you a shit player. I didn't give you a bench player. I give you a player that I rate, Man City fans rate, even rivals rate. But you saying that I would choose Foden because he won trophies,
I
doesn't
didn't
make sense because he plays in a better team. In my opinion, he plays under a better manager. In my opinion,
No, but I respond. No, but Mo, you're seeing it wrong because I respond.
I am because that's how you explained it. Maybe you need to explain it better. Your first argument was he won multiple trophies and the other guy didn't.
What I
That was the first argument.
Response to what Daoud said as regard to Trent he had contributed in bigger games in them winning trophies, to say that Foden hadn't, and I was literally counting the amount of trophies that Foden had big amount of like he played a big part in just the League Cup, for example. He used to play those games all the time when he was a fringe player, like you alluded to.
No, but the thing is,
he used to win it all the time. So all I was trying to highlight.
Go ahead.
From 18 years old or so, Foden's been contributing to trophies. So to say, Trent's played in more bigger games, it's just it's
no, but that's not that. To be honest with you, I actually will take Trent because I think Trent affects the game more than
Mo. Question.
Wait,
hold on. At your club, Mo. Is that what you're talking about?
It's not my club. If I see, it's when we ask these questions, I asked them about not a club. The reason why some clubs need a midfielder, like Arsenal, for example, they don't need a right back; they need a midfielder. I'm asking abstract. Does that make sense to you? I am valuing the valuation of the two players. How would they add to a squad? In my opinion, it's very close. If I'm speaking Trent, this is what people fail to understand. If I'm saying Trent, that doesn't mean that Foden wouldn't add. It means we're splitting hair here. It's very close. But I believe that Trent actually affects the game more than Foden. The reason why...
I just got one quick question.
I believe Foden, Man City would win trophies without Foden. right?
Yeah.
Even though he adds a lot, it's not his fault, right? But I believe Liverpool is going to be affected massively without Trent.
Okay, but Mo, this is why it's confusing, because when you say you're not
Why it's
applying it to
confusing?
clubs, you're saying you're not applying it to clubs, but then you're saying you believe at Man City someone wouldn't be more effective or less effective. I thought you posed a question first to Dawood.
Yeah,
about,
but I need to analyze what I have. So here is the thing, Vator. For
Yeah.
me to say what I say, I have to analyze the history and what I have said, what I have seen. How am I judging Foden or Trent? By everything that is out
Okay,
there. You know what I
so
mean?
hold on. Let's just do apples to apples.
اللابتوب already برا على اليمين.
Let's do apples to apples. Let's just use the same club. Let's use Liverpool. Liverpool, they have the option of Foden or Trent. As you see it, Mo, are you having Trent or are you having Foden?
No, that's an unfair question.
But
The thing is,
because
I don't get what you guys are saying, to be honest.
because
I actually think it's a very. Can I think it's a conversation. I don't know what are we talking about.
Okay, Mo, one
will
question.
agree.
Let me just.
Okay,
Okay, one second.
We
Let
are
me ask one
splitting
question.
hairs here. Like I don't get. We're
There
not
is no wrong
respecting
answer,
any
by
of
the way.
them.
No, there is a wrong answer. There is.
Okay,
No,
let
there
me
is.
ask one
That's
question.
Mo has
it.
the wrong answer.
That's it.
Mo has the wrong answer.
Yeah.
Oh,
Vator
yo,
thinks
guys,
it's the wrong
Mo,
answer.
let me ask one question. Okay, what's more likely, Man City winning the treble last season without full Foden, or Liverpool winning the Champions League without Trent as an Arnold when they won the Champions League that season?
City.
City most likely will still have won the treble last season without full Foden. There's absolutely no chance
He didn't
Liverpool
even.
won that
By the way,
Champions
he
League that
didn't even.
season
I don't think he actually
without
was
Trent.
integral part of the end
Absolutely,
of the
I
last
can guarantee
season.
you, without Trent that season, Liverpool not winning the Champions League. There's absolutely no way. Liverpool, Man City won the treble. If
Very
Phil
argument.
Foden was not in the squad last season, Man City are still winning the treble. They're still winning it.
That's not true.
That's not even